well, I think the presiding officer rate is different than the election worker rate. So what differential you want that to look like, I don't know. And maybe it's okay the way it is.
Wasn't that minimum wage plus 5? Or was it?
I didn't ever see a minimum wage plus
We did
5.
something, we did whatever the minimum wage was plus.
At that time? At that time.
That's what
Well,
I
no,
saw
it's
as,
just we made that saying, okay,
Yeah.
this is what it is, but then, because we knew we were gonna have to keep going over this again and again.
Yeah.
That we just, okay, minimum wage plus blank for,
I think it was 5.
minimum wage plus 5 for presiding officer.
Yeah, that's what I think, but we'll have to go back and check. Somebody will.
we can make any motion and override it, I mean, so it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, I'll just leave it.
I didn't ever see that in minutes. I looked and I saw rates, but I didn't see a
Yeah.
like minimum wage plus whatever, so it may be in there, but I would love for there to be a motion just so it's fresh.
What was it last time?
Was it
It's been
17?
15 straight since I've started.
For everybody, presiding officer and election.
No.
No, presiding
Just presiding
officer.
officer.
It was 15 straight.
Mhm.
Oh. Could the minimum wage have been $10?
It was 11.15, I think.
Or maybe we just said 15.
I mean, the idea between doing presiding officer versus an election official is just the fact that there's added responsibility of being a presiding officer.
Agreed.
So it's just a matter of,
I think having the floating approach of, minimum wage plus 5 is pretty good. And,
Okay.
I think if that's the state minimum wage and it's 14.14 right now.
It's something like that. I'm gonna check again, but
Does that sound okay to everybody? Because that way, as a precedent, we can track as the state moves the minimum wage forward.
Right.
Without having to rediscuss it each time.
I mean, in 50 years, you might want to raise that $5 to like $10. It's like gasoline.
you can make that move.
Save a dime on your gasoline on $12 a
A
gallon.
total stall on it and ratchet it to the federal minimum wage and then nothing will happen.
So maybe a motion to that effect, just so I have it.
What's that?
most office should be a motion. Probably,
I
can't
would
hurt.
think so. Somebody want to make a
So
motion?
how do you want it phrased? A minimum presiding officers minimum wage plus $5 and the election workers $15?
Minimum wage.
Minimum wage.
Set by the state.
Yeah.
As set by the state, by the time.
So state minimum wage. So you're making a motion, Mike, for,
If that's the favorite phraseology, I'll make that motion.
Okay,
so it's gonna be the election workers get the state minimum wage and the presiding officers get the state minimum wage plus $5.
Got
Right? Okay, thank you, Mike. Second?
Second.
Who did that? Andrew? Thank you. Further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Aye. Anyone opposed or abstaining, please speak up. Matthew? You're all right? I didn't hear an aye.
Sorry, I vote aye.
Okay, can I get your bank routing number, please? While you're on. All right, we're gonna move on to number 7, agenda item, reviewing policies. We'll start with 7A, the poll watcher. We have a memo here in your packet, poll watchers.
so these are just things that I was like, well, you know what, we probably should review some of these sometimes, so I threw a couple of them on. The poll watcher has been updated a couple of times, so I wanted to make sure that we just had an opportunity to look at it and see if there was anything that needed to be changed. Certainly, Donna, you have a wealth of experience. I've never had a poll watch.
I've never seen a poll watch.
We've had some in the past, and they can get pretty.
Aggressive.
Contentious.
They just show up in the morning and say,
Good word.
poll watcher?
They want to come close.
So, and
But I mean, people just show up maybe.
Well, they identify themselves.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I'm saying, but
Give them their spot.
we're not organizing. So
And then
they'll
they-
come and say, I wanna watch.
And then they start to create their own issues.
I wouldn't think that we would only see anything in this election, but maybe November, but
The poll watchers.
maybe the next general
Poll
election,
watchers will have
so.
guns and badges,
Yeah.
masks.
Mm.
the biggest thing is that they stay outside of
No badges.
the check-in table. Yeah, outside the building, no, outside the check-in table. They can't interfere with the check-in table. If they have any complaints, they see the presiding officer, normally the presiding officer, they shouldn't have conversations with the front desk.
Did you ever did you ever like put a chair or put a thing on the wall or like
I
an
used to-
identifying spot?
I used to hook put the sign-in sheet like up on the wall. And then maybe put a chair, and if I had enough time, I'd just tape like a little box around, saying
Okay.
this is kind of your area kind of thing, but that's something we can even do if someone shows up.
Yeah. So maybe we'll just have supplies for that should someone show up.
So they don't have to check in with the presiding officer. They can just sign
Put
it.
their name on the list, have a seat, watch from here.
And
And then I would assume the presiding officer would go over and say, hey, what's going on? How are ya?
right, and the part that I'm having a challenge with is we say, have them sign the poll watcher sign-in sheet, but there's no other form of identification. They don't have to tell us who they're here for, although it says at the
No,
top
no.
is, each organized political party, each candidate that's not affiliated with an organized party, and each committee supporting or opposing a public question shall have the right to have not more than 2 representatives known as poll watchers observed. So they have to at least identify
The
which
party.
issue,
Or-
which candidate they are there on behalf of. And if they can just tell you, my name is John Smith, and we're okay with that.
So the sign sheet should really then have all that. I mean, theoretically.
I haven't seen one of those sign-in.
It's
sheets yet.
on the back page.
That's why.
Well, usually we
for
put
party
this up next to it, and then this sign-in sheet next, these two
Yeah, side by
pages would be
side.
on the.
Okay,
So it's just party affiliation, print name, and then, no, that you're agreeing to what's posted.
okay. So we don't need any other,
I just wanted to review it and see if anything needed to change or we need to update it. I mean, obviously, this is a sample
To
from
include
a
the
while ago.
other information, right? It seems relevant because you can't have more than 2. So how do you know?
well, yes, but if you're representing a party, then only 2 people can sign their name on to the party. If you're representing a candidate, you can sign more people on. So, in effect, you can have a multiple copies of poll watchers because you could have, I'm here for the Democratic Party, I'm here for the Democratic Party, I'm here for Amanda Janeau, I'm here for Amanda Janeau, I'm here for Ally Richards, I'm here for Ally
You
Richards.
could have 100 people there.
Right,
It'll get.
I don't think we will.
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think either.
I don't think so either.
Maybe it's not worth it, but.
But just reviewing the process and policy, should we have some?
okay. Any further questions on poll 1?
And did I hear you correctly? That the policy, since they have to signature that they're agreeing to, that the policy will be.
Will be posted.
All right, let's go to 7B, ice at the polls.
Yep, so this was something that was posted at the last election that the Secretary of State's office put forward. So I just wanted to make sure that we're all aware it'll be posted again on the blue boards. And certainly also a duplicate in the BCA binder. We've gotten a lot of, well, not a lot, we've gotten several calls. One consistent person who has probably spent 3 or 4 staff hours ensuring that I basically will die before I let anybody take the ballots.
And I will too.
And I have said, the process is, should somebody come to take the ballots, should a federal agent show up at the elections, which they are not allowed to, the process and procedure for us will be to call the state police, to
Well,
call the Secretary of State's office, to call the local police, and to call the attorney.
Yeah.
And
Which
well,
attorney?
you will call me so I can come over. And just, and then we'll sort it out from there. But if there are federal agents at the elections, they're not allowed to be. So that's the first call. Whether or not somebody is going to, have a warrant to take ballots, that would take some time. And so I would think that the election would be secured by the time such a warrant would be issued, but
So they're not allowed in the gymnasium, but they're allowed in the house.
they're not allowed in the foyer. They're not allowed at the election site.
Are they
No more
allowed
than
in the street in
political
front of tunnel?
candidates.
Are they allowed on the sidewalk?
They wouldn't be allowed on the side. They can't impede any voting
Okay.
or threaten
Yeah,
any
yeah.
voting.
They are allowed to
That
be on the,
means-
down the street from the polling place,
but not
but
at the
not
polling
at the
place.
polling place.
So we,
No.
Parking lot,
Public.
it is public, so parking lot,
so
they can be.
Okay.
But they just can't interfere or, you know,
You can define it as the political zone that we mark out for
Yeah.
politicking right to the entrance to the polling place.
exactly.
And the fact that we limit even political zone to signs across the street
Exactly.
from here. And, you know, depends on how obtrusive their presence is, you know? So,
Is there gonna be a sheet in the, with all those 4 phone numbers, just so that we can look really quick?
We don't have to be.
Not the Google search.
Yeah.
Yep, we will put that together.
Speed dial.
any
Good
further
idea.
questions on 7B, ice at the poll?
Okay.
Let's move on to 7C, press at the polls.
So press at the polls, you know. Press is fine to come. Just making sure that they also are staying beyond that barrier and that they're not doing any filming of people getting close enough that they could zoom in and see what people are voting for. But it is a public process, so they can be in the gymnasiums and they can be recording.
So they could interview someone in the polling place.
They can't interview anybody, but sometimes they don't, so DPW does go around and take them down. And they will pull them if it's ahead of that 2 weeks. So if somebody puts stuff out 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So I just wanted to reiterate that. And then we had an issue with a candidate who, the Gamlin, part or candidate, who has some unsanctioned signs all through Chittenden County, I think, that don't have a financial disclosure piece on them. They weren't sanctioned by the campaign committee, and they're on utility poles and light fixtures. So, they can't be. So they've been informed that they need to do their due diligence and go around and take them down, even though they didn't put them up, but it has their candidate name on it. So there's some
can
conversation
we
of,
take them down? Can Public Works just take them down?
I think Public Works has a they have said that they have a responsibility for the yard signage. Whether or not they're gonna take on utility poles, I did not hear that they were doing that.
But the policy seemed broad enough to allow them to do that, or actually to require them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was not a topic of conversation that has come up in Tom DePietro's absence, so, you know, something that, you know, I don't like to forecast in a negative way, but we have seen such an uptick in the amount of time and conversation and questions that people really want answers to and want run-throughs for, that I don't want any other department to be paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I don't
I'm
want the
asking Chris
election to
actually,
be
one of the
paralyzed.
candidates reached out to me about this,
Yeah,
and I wasn't sure of the policy, but it does say here, DPW shall, respond to notifications, remove non-conforming signs.
that could be a full-time job, so that is, I think, again, is something like we might wanna think about that.
Yeah, it does say.
It does say, and you certainly can talk about it tonight if you want to, I know. So anyway, I just put it in there as a conversation. It hasn't been anything that's been updated since, 2010. I don't know that it needs to be, but that's just making people aware.
The 2 weeks, the 2 weeks prior to the election, that's actually 2 weeks prior to the availability of people to vote on ballots, even
No.
at the clerk's
No,
office.
the election day.
Election day. because
Otherwise, that would be 45 days before an election.
didn't-
Been
didn't s-
violated.
The state signs went up way before
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Nobody pulled any, I don't think.
I mean, I think the reality for our DPW, I don't wanna speak for them, but my understanding in the past has been they'll pull them when they're mowing.
Yeah.
I don't think they're like, okay, it's not 2 weeks yet, let's go out and do our, 2 hours of roundup. I just don't think anyone is staffed for that, but,
But wait,
I'm always cautious when there's a policy in place that we can't meet a standard of as a city.
City council did that with the TIF signs back in 2017. We put them out a week early.
Oh,
And they all
boy.
got collected, brought back to Public Works. We put them all back again.
Oh, dear me. So anyway, there doesn't need to be an action on it. It, maybe just a conversation point at some point.
Any other discussion on political science? Let's move on to 7E, politicking at the polling place. Nice, we have a policy for everything.
There are a lot of great policies. So again, just, is there anything that we need to refresh or renew? Essentially, this is just making sure that nobody is coming into the polling place representing a candidate or a vote positive for this issue or negative for this issue. Although we have run into but it's okay to wear slogans as long as the name of a candidate is not represented.
Holographic displays on the outside of the building.
Highly against.
I'm just reading the last part of unattended signs. At the middle school, people, put signs all the way up the path
And they
is
can
that
do
okay?
that. It's on the other side of that driveway that they can't have unattended
Leaning up
signs.
against the wall.
Yeah, okay, I want to make
The
sure that
outside
that wasn't
wall of
gonna
the
change.
school.
Yeah.
And are you gonna have X's or, are you gonna use tape?
Yep.
To help
Yep.
people who can't figure out where they're supposed to stand?
Yeah, it really depends on whether we'll either do tape. Well, Orchard has a great setup and I think Tuttle will have a great setup too, because we have the stanchions, so we'll use the stanchions. I don't believe we have any here, although maybe the library has some. So it'll be tape or like chalk lines.
Yeah.
But it'll be identified.
People were very confused in the last election about the new door. Everyone tried to go in the front door.
At Tuttle.
It was constantly, no, that's the door. That's the
Yep.
door. That's the door.
Yeah,
And honestly, but for the candidate standing out there, a lot of people would not have figured out how to get inside.
yeah.
We should almost move them so that they're more in front of that front door. That is a good idea.
I don't know what to say, except for we have been told by the school that that's the entrance that we're using. That is the pathway that we're using.
Yeah.
So I think it's just relearning, you go in this way, you come out that way. But we can include some more signage.
I think it's probably useful.
Are there new people at the school that that maybe might change back to the old way?
Well,
they
the
have
new
orange-
superintendent has been here since the change has been made, so I don't know.
Orange traffic cones. but
Yeah.
it's-
So at the middle school, they're using the one on the left? Or
No,
the
you
one
go in on the
exit-
right.
Old exit
The
door.
old, the
is the
little
new door.
solid door is the entrance door, and everyone's confused about that.
Yeah,
Everyone was
traffic
confused.
No,
cones that have signs on them
Okay.
pointing in that
Okay.
direction.
You exit through the lobby now.
Yeah.
So
They've
the
had
traffic
one
cones
round
have
of it
signs on them.
last
clear.
March, so maybe they'll remember.
Yeah.
If people just walk right
Is
there.
there potentially a way for us to lock it from the outside and not lock from the inside?
With the exit door?
Yeah,
It was locked.
I think it was locked.
oh, they
Yeah,
were trying to
just
open.
polling and
I can't, how come I can't get in to vote?
Oh my.
even though all the signage is on the door and there were arrows, but we could do more.
Okay.
I think that's okay for the policy on politicking. Everybody else all right with it?
Yep,
We'll move on to 7F, firearms.
yep, and this is just the last one, the Secretary of State's office. This will be posted. It has been posted as well. And then there's a little graphic, unfortunately, of a gun with a no sign on it. But no guns at the polling places, so those are required to be posted. Just keeping everybody up to speed there.
Any questions on that?
So, somebody had a sidearm holster in the parking lot, were walking towards the polling place. Once they reach the little road in front of the school, then that would be a violation, right?
I think it's once they cross the threshold of the door,
Oh, the door,
like
So
the
that's your
polling
job as
place.
the presiding officer.
Or on the walks leading to the building in which it.
That's why you get the big bucks.
Well, right, so I guess,
She'd ask
the
them to put it back
roadway.
in their car glove compartment like they should have it.
yeah,
so we would call SBPD in that
I mean,
case.
I would just remind them that there's not any weapons allowed on the polling
Of course,
location.
approach them.
And if there were a situation, you would call the South Burlington Police, yes.
but don't try and necessarily
Don't wrestle
push
with
the
God,
ad
right?
themselves.
That's your job.
They can go through, step in, call the police.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But they could have a gun rack in their pickup and the rifle could be in there in the parking lot. It's okay. Yep, all right.
yep.
Any other questions on firearms? Let's move on to number 8, review current absentee ballot issuance and return rates.
Okay, so for the local, we have issued 1,234. We have had 662 returned, so we have an outstanding 572. Yep.
There's.
Okay, and Chris just put some in too. You gave it to Sally and she put
Put them
them
in the mailbox.
For the primary, we have issued 1,315. We have gotten 694 returned and so still have 621 outstanding. So I just,
Are you pre-process?
I mean, my recommendation is that we don't have to pre-process,
Yeah.
but it's totally up to the BCA what you wanna do. It just, I think there's gonna be enough people at the polls that will be able to open and just dump the yellows right into like the R2D2, whatever that little box is, and then put the others through the tabulator.
And we're here as the BCA tonight. Is there an overwhelming feeling that we should pre-process? Otherwise, we'll see you on Tuesday. Okay? I'm not hearing an overwhelming feeling to pre-process.
Holly, what's the return again so far?
So we have 694 for primary, 662 for local. That we have in our hot little hands checked in.
And that's divided between 5 districts.
That's
So-
between all 5 districts.
Sounds reasonable to do.
Does that mean that some people just didn't return the yellow one at all?
Some people didn't even want the yellow one, or some people didn't want the primary. Yeah.
That's why it's not an even number. Yeah.
I say the yellow one, the local. So scientific.
So we just raced through item 9, the discussion of early pre-processing, deciding that we didn't need to early pre-process.
Yes.
And we're on to item 10.
I just have a couple other little things.
Okay.
Sorry, I know we're,
That should be
Okay.
number 10, other business, right?
yeah.
And then in turn.
Yeah, that
Okay.
would work well. So maybe we could just switch those.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so the only other thing that I wanted to mention is that the food shelf is gonna be doing a cereal drive at each of the locations. So it won't be in the polling location, it'll be, outside on the way in. But there are 2, just for full transparency, 2 people that are part of the food shelf that have candidate last names. So Emily Krasnow is on the board and so is Fritz Burkhart. So I have said you cannot put your candidate names out there, like please have somebody else post on social media. If you wanna repost, like that's fine, but don't have sponsored by, it's a food shelf something, and I've asked that they not be there receiving those at the polls.
So they're gonna come the day before to set up with Holly and I when we go and check the polls the day before. So they won't be there the morning and then they'll come after the polls close to pick everything up.
So
Yes.
just alerting everybody that that's that how you
Very
understood it?
successful in Winooski,
Yeah.
so,
Williston, I think.
or Williston,
Yeah.
sorry, thank you.
May I join the school board to improve my candidacy too?
Any questions about that?
Culture shock. Frankenberry.
So then we are ready to adjourn and then
I have a question
Go
and I
ahead.
may have missed it. Because I was one of the confused people as to what time we were starting. Did you cover, do you want to identify, or doesn't matter if there is a need for sick ballot delivery on Monday?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Ann. Sure, if
Thank
we
you.
wanna just kind of put 2 people, I'll call you afternoon if we have any. I know right now we don't, but that doesn't mean that something's not gonna change. So if we have 2 people that, wanna be flexible and I can just shoot you an email, we don't need you or we need you. Okay, Linda? Ann, were you volunteering or were you just saying, hey, we should talk about that?
I was saying, hey, we should talk about that.
Okay.
I haven't had- but I'm fine. I guess you can add.
Okay, so, okay. All right, so I've got Linda, Ann, and Chris. I will shoot you a text message by noon
That will get.
on Monday.
Quicker than an email.
How about that?
What are those two people gonna do again?
If there's anybody that is requesting a ballot delivery
Oh, okay.
because they're,
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
in the hospital or can't get out of their home.
Okay.
And it doesn't always work out. I think Andrew and I went one time, and waited around for almost an hour, and the person was in-house appointment and, you know, seeing
Oh.
getting some procedures, so,
Oh,
you know,
jeez.
it's-
Very ornery person.
did we get one too? Take them all off.
That's.
All right, so I'll need a motion to adjourn, then we're gonna go on to
Motion to
tabulator testing, but we will let those online go about their day. Thank you, Andrew, second.
Sure.
Thank you, Ann. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We will see you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
next time.
everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Matthew.
Matthew.
Thank you, Sue. Okay.